Oh yeah, it's the weekend, and you know what that means. It's time for Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com with your hosts, Corey, Manny, and Tommy. And now, broadcasting from planet Earth, it's time for Pixels and Bits. Welcome to Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com. My name is Corey. Hi, welcome to episode 79 of your weekly gaming podcast, Pixels and Bits. I am joined by my co-host as always. Say hi, Manny.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And today we are joined by a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, it's BaronJ. That's the thing that I say over and over and over again on probably one or two videos a week. Yeah.
For those who don't know BaronJ, which sadly is probably not a whole lot of people, I think you should be much more popular.
That is the number one comment I get from every single person that goes on a video. It's like, why don't you have more subscribers? I'm like, man, I don't know what to tell you.
I remember like I heard there was a Facebook discussion and people were talking about what was his name, Misty Chronixia,
that's a fun time.
Yeah, it's just like why is this guy popular and not like say like Glass Reflection or BaronJ or Canipa Effect or all these other people.
GR Arcada, he's got the following now, and rightly so. He's a really great guy, and the people that make good content nowadays are constantly putting out new content, and they're doing it well, and as long as you work at it, you can make a lot of success, which is I feel like why Misty has a lot of success in that. He does consistently put out content, so you can't blame him for that.
And clickbait thumbnails, but that's besides the point.
Clickbait, whatever.
I mean, it looks a little, I wouldn't want to say shady, but frowned upon when half your thumbnails are fan service pics.
It's very true.
And then you could be really out there and on the edge like a douchebag chocolate. So
seriously, that dude is one of my favorite people on the planet.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of like in-depth stuff. Like you have to watch his videos a few times if you really want to get it.
Right, and see, he has a very interesting, he has a very weird humor style, and I tried to be like, my friend was like, okay, your videos are great. Who do you watch? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna show you this guy, but you have to understand. It takes a while to get into him, get into his style and everything. And I showed him one of the super serious first impressions videos, and he was like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's you're probably not gonna get this."
See, well, for me, I discovered you through your Space Pirate Captain Harlock review.
Oh God, yeah.
Or as you say, Space Suit Pirate Captain Haruku.
Captain Haruku.
Well, because I watched the movie on Netflix, and I was just like, I was wondering, like, okay, has anybody ever reviewed this or really even talked about it? And then you were one of the very first videos on the list, so I watched it, and I was just like, this guy makes good points. And then I watched your other videos, and I'm like, he also makes other good points. So
you say the list. Are you saying you type that into YouTube and you search for it?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah, you were towards the top.
Harlock review. This is news. This is news to me.
I think it's like the third or fourth most popular video now, right?
Oh, you know what? Mine probably won't show up in my search feed because that's how that works. Yeah. So that's not gonna work for me. But that's awesome, though.
No. So, now everybody who BaronJ is. And you should go subscribe to him because he is fucking awesome.
Woo!
But, by the way, I do like the new little live-action intros you did. Especially the latest one we did where you got in your car and you drove off.
Right. Well, see, I asked at the beginning. I said, "Do you guys like the live action intros? Is that good?" And people were generally responsive to it. But somebody did point out something to me in the last video, and I'm gonna take that to heart, which was that the ratio of intro to actual review for this one was like
It was a little bit long.
Yeah, it was like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then the rest of the video was like it was like half that, and I realized I was like, that's probably not something I should keep doing. So I'm gonna try to keep them shorter from now on.
I think the style's right there, but
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what I try to do is I tend to try to keep with a theme, keep with a style. So it's a thing that a lot of YouTubers try to do, but they end up just not doing. They'll change their thing every 5 minutes, try and bring in more people, and it's like, you have to consistently do the same thing while changing bits and pieces.
yeah. All right. Well, I think, Manny, think it's time for us to move into the news desk?
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's move into the news desk. Hit the music. Yes, that's the news desk intro. First off, the Devil's Third creator hints that Fatal Frame 5 may come to the West.
Really?
Yes.
That I have not heard. That is...
Replying to a fan's Facebook post, the Devil's Third creator said that he strongly believes the game will make its way west in the following quote. Hey guys, I strongly believe that Kikuchi Kisuke, which will release the Fatal Frame 5 in America in many countries. He and me have same philosophy from Tecmo days. That's what I can say for now. I want you guys to read between the lines. Anyway, I will play this game.
Wow.
And that's just, I've always wanted to play Fatal Frame, but I've never been able to find any of the PS2 ones. So I'll Fatal Frame 5 on the Wii U. Yeah, I'll play that, even though I'm the biggest pussy when it comes to horror games.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. If it were on the Wii U, that'd be amazing. Because I remember the first Fatal Frame. Well, I didn't finish it because it scared the crap out of me. But I remember that one being awesome back in the day. But I'm trying to remember who had that, and I borrowed it from them. It was a friend of mine, but it was a very, very fresh take on the horror concept. At least at the time.
I mean, like I said, I never got to play it, and I've always wanted to because I thought the concept sounded really cool. Plus, you don't really get to see Japanese-themed horror games in the United States. It's always very westernized, or it's based on some franchise.
I never got around to playing it myself, but I remember having a lot of friends from Korea and even Southeast Asia, and that was like really huge for them over there. So I'm glad to see that it's coming West Side as well, or at least a continuation of it.
Now, next in that little rumor mill is that Darksiders 2 may appear for the PS4. The Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition has appeared on Amazon. No announcement, not even a shot of the box art. It's listed for the PS4 and it's priced at $40. And the listing is saying December 31st, 2015, which is basically a standard placeholder date. My guess is that somebody Amazon screwed up and put this up early, and they're probably going to announce it in the next few weeks or so. Or this is a total elaborate prank and someone at Amazon's going to get fired.
Yeah. It didn't something similar happen with the Majora's Mask thing? Like with Target? They listed it online, and then there were pictures taken of like the tags going out, and then it actually happened.
Yeah. No, first off is like, I'm not sure if this will ever happen because Nordic Games has been pretty stingy with all their licenses. But two, if this would happen, or if it does happen, I don't see, if it's just Darksiders 2, I think that's a little odd because you don't get the full picture of the story unless you play the first game. Not to mention Mark Hamill as your little shade buddy was kind of funny.
You know,
Right.
this reminds me of. Remember last year, Corey, when I had brought to your attention, I saw online there was this post of the rumor of Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect trilogy for the PlayStation 4. And
Yeah.
that you could actually, buy holds for it, and it's like, really? And part of you is like, no, it's not out. But the other part's like, well, this is EA, so yeah, it could be possible.
I'm actually surprised we have not seen the Mass Effect trilogy pack set already, since we all know EA's practices.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. It would not surprise me if that happens within the next year.
And will I buy it? Yes,
Most
because I'm a Mass Effect groupie.
Yeah.
Seriously. I've probably beaten those 3 games at least a half a dozen times each. I probably beat Mass Effect 2 a dozen times. I put way too many hours into that, and basically just fighting robots and romancing aliens.
Well, before we get too off to topic, do we have any more to say about this Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition?
Well, if it does come out, I hope it sells better than the initial game, because it was really underappreciated, because everybody's just like, oh man, I want a hardcore, like, mature Legend of Zelda. I'm like, that's what fucking Darksiders is! Go buy it, man!
I was gonna say, I never hear anything but good criticism about that game. Everybody says good stuff about it. And
It's great. It's
Right.
such a great game. Oh. So if it does come back and that is a thing, I hope it gets a lot of success and it convinces Nordic Games to make a third addition to the franchise. Now, let's move focus over to EA, who we were talking about earlier. More specifically, BioWare. Now, if you remember back at E3, they announced a new little game called Shadow Realms at the EA press conference. BioWare has announced that game's canceled.
wait, really?
Yeah. They're
Oh
a little
my.
they're a little 4v1 action RPG. Yeah, it's been canceled.
Oh, that sucks.
Now, originally the news came from multiple unnamed sources who were speaking to Game Informer, but now it's been confirmed by BioWare Austin.
Damn, that kind of sucks.
Apparently, it's to focus more on the Star Wars: The Old Republic and its 4th expansion.
Ew, that actually does make a lot of sense, though,
Yeah.
because everything about that is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's when was it? No, wait, the 4th expansion already came out, so yeah, they're probably working on the 5th expansion. What was the 4th expansion? Was the Shadow of Revan, I think. Yeah, wait.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. I tried out the Old Republic, and I thought it was alright. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I got into it after the paywall came down. Anyways, now, speaking of Star Wars, if you haven't been to the Humble Bundle lately, they have a great Star Wars Humble Bundle deal.
Oh my god. I was so hoping you were going to talk about this.
Yes.
Um,
Now,
I can
it-
actually do a little teaser here.
Go ahead.
I am actually doing, because even though I do a lot of anime, when I started out, I said I was going to do anime movies and games. My special next week is going to be on the entirety of the Jedi Knight franchise.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
doing Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know about this awesome bundle, if you pay just above the average price, which right now is a little hovering right around $11.50, you'll get 12 games.
$1.
It
Tw-
is
12 games for less than $12.
it is insane.
I mean, just here's what you get. You get Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which was one of the most fantastic games ever. Star Wars Jedi Knight, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Star Wars Dark Forces, Star Wars Empire at War, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Star Wars Republic Commando, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Starfighter, and Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. This is pretty cool.
This is probably this is probably the best one they've done so far.
Now, and time is running out, so by the time this podcast is published, you got exactly, my friends, probably about 2.5, less than 3 days. So jump on that shit right now.
In fact, I need to do that myself.
Manny, break out the wallet.
Yeah. Best $12 I'll spend in a while.
And if you want to, you can even give all the money to charity.
Yep.
Think of it this way. You're not buying games, you're just giving to charity, and you're getting a little return.
A pretty big return, if you ask me.
It's an insane return,
It's
basically.
like, it's like what, like $150 worth of games?
Really? It
And
really is.
childhood.
Now, let's move to perhaps my least favorite publisher in the past year, Ubisoft.
Oh, God, here we go.
Assassin's Creed, everyone.
Assassin's Creed was so disappointing. Watch Dogs was very disappointing. And while I love Far Cry 4, it just feels way too much of the same. I feel like that have you noticed that all the Ubisoft games that are open world, to unveil any part of the map, you have to climb some sort of tower, and then some sort of music happens after you do a button prompt? And is that like the camera spins around you and show you everything?
No, the synchronization.
Yeah, it's like it's been in every single open world Ubisoft game this year.
I remember seeing that in Far Cry, and I was like, really?
It's like it was in Far Cry, it was in Assassin's Creed, and it was in Watch Dogs.
I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. I watched my buddy play Unity the other day, and I was like, "Do you have to do that every single time?" He's like, "Yes."
I
It's
just
very
traded.
upsetting.
I just traded Unity away so I could get Monster Hunter.
That's a good trait. It's a very good
Yeah.
trait.
It's like, a game I haven't played in months for one that I'm gonna get hundreds of hours of enjoyment out of.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. So that ended up working out for me. Now, what happened at Ubisoft is they have been saying that they were gonna. They had like a string of games planned for the Wii U. They had like Zombie Hunter U and like what was it, Zombie U or what was that stupid zombie game that came out in the beginning for the launch and it ended up sucking so bad.
Yeah,
that
I'm pretty sure
everybody
that was
forgot.
Zombie U.
Zombie U,
Yeah.
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 Okay, so originally they had a game. They had a game called Know Your Friends. It was a party game. And here's the thing: the game is finished, but Ubisoft won't release it.
Huh.
It was completed last year.
Hmm.
It's been out of development for a year and they haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
I believe the phrase I'm looking for is, "What is your problem?"
It's just like they love pissing away money, don't they?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I could. Oh my God. My buddy Blue Drake 42, he had a video about Ubisoft. He was playing. I think it was something that just came out. They put it on friggin' I want to say IGN. Put it in one of their videos talking about it, like when it came out, because the whole entire game is basically a ripoff of some other mod. What video was that? I think it was Battlefield Hardline. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
All I'm going to say about Battlefield Hardline is I played the alpha and the beta, and I was never impressed. I was actually very disappointed because it felt like a mod.
It definitely felt like add-on DLC, like it wasn't unique enough to be standalone.
Oh yeah, it was Battlefield Hardline. He just like it's like a 2-minute video, and it's like a cut from one of his streams, and it was like him just flipping shit. And people at IGN were like, he's kind of angry, but he's also incredibly right. So I just don't know about. I think Valve had it right in the first place when they started to hire mod makers as members of their staff, because they saw what people were doing with it, and they would take that and work with them. And now we've got people like Ubisoft who are like, hey, this mod's pretty fun. Let's repackage it and then sell it for lots of money.
You mean EA?
EA or Ubisoft.
Both do the same thing.
Basically.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I love what Valve does with that little practice of hiring modders. I mean, some of the greatest games that Valve does came out of mods. I mean, the entire Dota franchise, the entire Counter-Strike franchise, the entire Team Fortress franchise. Those are all based on mods.
Yep.
Actually, I believe like Portal was based on it was originally based on a mod, and
It was a Half-Life 2 mod that these kids were working on with gameplay mechanics for a school project, and then
and
a
an
member of Valve came by and said, "This is amazing. We want you to make this game. Come work for us."
And thus, one of the greatest games of our generation was born.
Right.
Right. Now, let us talk about what was on the cover of Game Informer this month, Manny.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, which I am still very pissed that is exclusive to the Xbox, even if it is a timed exclusive.
I was gonna say that's a timed exclusive.
It's still exclusive.
Yeah. We just gotta be patient.
Anyways, in a recent video interview with Game Informer, Brian Horton, who is the game director for Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider, he says that the game will feature dynamic time and day weather systems. And it also means that at different times of the day, different animals will appear. That, if they throw an interesting, like a hunting and gathering mechanic that actually like makes sense, that would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've yet to see a game actually do that well, so I'd be interested to see it. Although I've never played a Tomb Raider game, so
I'd be interested to see how that works out, because my gameplay with Tomb Raider, it seemed like you were mostly in narrow caves or like cliff edges, so it wasn't really designed for like open world exploring and animals.
Well, there was like some like moments where like it would let you stretch your legs a little bit, like it would give you multiple paths, or it would give you kind of a big room and trying to figure out what to do in the big room. But like, yeah, it was not open world at all.
So I wonder if they'll have a different approach on this one.
Yeah.
Well, for starters, she's in Siberia.
Well, they've also promised to improve traversal since you are in Siberia. And they're also making sure that the graphics show a very believable snow effects. Sort of like with what Uncharted did with Uncharted 2. They say that animals will leave unique footprints in the snow, and then the snow prints will fill over time. So if you like look at like one of your footprints, it'll slowly fill up. Laura will be able to dig snow trenches to shelter herself and stuff like that. So it seems like the environment is now an enemy itself.
Yeah, it's interesting.
If this mechanic works, I think I will thoroughly enjoy this as long as if the gameplay remains unchanged, to be honest. Because I played the last Tomb Raider game, and what did I get? I gave it a 9, right?
Honestly, I don't recall.
I gave it about a 9. I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that.
Huh.
And I remember like a bunch of people were giving it like 7s and 8s, and it was like, yeah, the game's good, but the multiplayer is like, yeah. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't think it detracts from the overall package. I mean, it's like saying it's just like, oh, Red Dead Redemption's a 9 out of 10 because the multiplayer was there, but it wasn't the best multiplayer in the world. I mean, see my point?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, now, let's talk about another game that was on the cover of Game Informer, say, 2 months ago. Just Cause 3.
Oh.
I am so excited for this game, you have no freaking idea. Just Cause 2 was one of my favorite open world games of last year. Just the fact that it was the ultimate B game. Oh man, the fact that I could tether a guy to a plane and then ghost ride said plane while he's tethered to it, and then let it fly into a traffic of like police cars, and then like parachute off into the distance while firing machine guns. That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds like the most fun of times.
Anyways, they revealed the team was at Avalanche Games. They revealed a little bit of details regarding Just Cause 3. They said it's going to be smarter and sillier than ever before. So, here's some of the little insane additions. Players can accelerate the grappling hook with the press of a button, so you can move faster with it. I think you can have a little bit of fun with physics there. Let's say you grapple onto a person, you pull him towards you, and you can accelerate, you let go, and he goes flying even further, maybe. Also, Rico now has a wingsuit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of new gadgets, and also this is taking place in the Mediterranean.
Huh.
So you're going to be wrecking shit in Italy.
Nice.
Fucking up Athens.
I actually found an interesting bit of video game news just now while looking through Reddit. So whenever we get to that, let's do that.
All right. Now, they've also said that they've changed the car's handling a little bit as well, so it doesn't feel as loose. Because that was something I always had a bit of an issue with, is that the cars felt kind of floaty. Did you play Just Cause 2, Baron?
I did not play it, but I did watch somebody play it, and I could tell it was almost like that. What was that game called? There was another game very similar to it where the cars just like you hit the brake trying to turn around a corner and you end up facing the opposite direction somehow. It just like you basically just figure eighted every single time you hit the brake.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It wasn't recent, but it wasn't like super far in the past. I think it was like early 360. What was that game called?
It wasn't the Saints Row series, was it?
I think Saints Row is what I'm thinking of.
Really?
The first one?
Yeah, it was either the first one or the last one. It might have been the one. You know what? It was the one with the dubstep gun.
Yeah.
That was the last one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. No. Here's some other additions. In the original Just Cause, you could tether two objects together, as we mentioned earlier, allowing you to manipulate objects with the game's silly physics engine. Latching a cable to a moving car and tethering it to the road would flip vehicles. Tethering a tank to a plane it pretty much gave you a big wrecking ball attached to your plane. Just Cause 3 has modified this by letting you use more than one tether.
Oh gosh.
As well as controlling the tension.
Jeez.
Spider-Man.
And with the press of the button, you'll be able to retract the cable, pulling all the objects together. So using weight to your advantage, you could have Rico pull helicopters into buildings, send explosive barrels and destructible walls, and yank statues and structures into the ground.
Jesus.
I mean, this is just sounding great.
This sounds like Far Cry on steroids.
You can even, there's even a modular upgrade systems that can upgrade to like some pretty silly things. So you can upgrade your C4 to include propulsion, like a propane or a O2 tank that soars into the air when shot. I mean, okay, that sounds a little ridiculous. So, all right, here's some C4 we're gonna launch off on this C4.
I'm pretty sure we've seen that in Battlefield at some point or another.
You know what side of this building is missing? Explosives. Let's put some up there.
I remember like somebody asked, please tell me there's gonna be a slow-mo mode because there's only one thing better than tons of guns and explosions, and that's guns and explosions in slow-mo.
That definitely needs to be a thing.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the biggest story that happened this week, and that was that Bethesda is hosting its first ever E3 conference.
Oh, man.
They never do this because they usually announce like maybe 1 or 2 games a year. If that, and they just do it at other people's conferences like Sony or Microsoft. So the fact that they're holding their own conference means they have a shit ton to announce. So I'm going to predict this. They're going to show off a new Fallout.
Oh, God, please let that happen.
Yes.
Please.
A new Elder Scrolls. And they're going to finally show gameplay of the new Doom.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Because they showed off Doom at QuakeCon last year.
Yeah,
but nobody was allowed to talk about it.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
So,
very excited.
do you think there should be anything else added to that list that is probably noteworthy?
Let's see.
Maybe Dishonored 2.
Actually, wasn't there? I do distinctly remember because I loved Dishonored. Dishonored was probably one of my favorite games. When I had a 360, it was one of my favorite games that was on it, and it was not strictly because of the gameplay, because I know people had issues with the gameplay. I loved the aesthetic and the almost like haunting nature of the overworld. It was super immersive.
It was very like it was a dreary steampunk world.
I love that shit.
That it was. I don't know. To me, it felt like a dreary steampunk version of like Prohibition era-esque.
Definitely. It was almost absolutely that, and I don't know, something about that. I loved that.
Well, I mean, Manny, what do you think? What could you think of anything that might be able to be added to that list?
Well, my 2 picks would have been definitely the new Fallout and possibly a new Elder Scrolls.
Well, I mean, it's too. Well, they already released The Evil Within, so it's not like we're going to see another sequel of that. And Wolfenstein came out this year, so we're not going to see another Wolfenstein. Or maybe there will be. Who knows? Maybe they got another. Maybe they had another studio working on a second one all along.
Could be.
But
I feel like there's one other game that they need to be. They did Fallout. They did Elder Scrolls. They did Evil Within. There was another game they did that was really, really good. Besides, am I thinking of Rage?
yes,
Yeah, that's the one. That wouldn't surprise me either.
that was the last game
pretty
that
fun.
John Carmack worked on
Yeah.
before he went and left for Oculus.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah, I think he's now like their CTO, their Chief Technology Officer, because their old guy got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh
True story.
yeah, I forgot about that. That was a sad day.
That was. Actually, when that happened, like everybody wonders, like, well, shit, is this the end of Oculus?
It surprised me. Ugh.
Anyways, that is the end of the news desk.
Wait. I have one more thing because I just found out about this because I literally just saw the article.
Ooh, go for it.
This is a bit of video games and movies. New Regency has announced that they're doing an adaptation of Assassin's Creed. They announced who they cast. And I am so excited because I called this like a year ago when they were first talking about it.
So who's on the cast list?
The female lead is Marion Cotillard, or Cotillard if you want to be super American about it. But she was La Vie en Rose, and she was in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh.
Yeah. But the main character, I'm assuming it's going to be Altair, is Michael Fassbender.
Wow.
What?
Yep.
Nice.
He is perfect. Perfect to play Altair.
That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
He's the only choice, in my opinion, and I'm so happy they're doing it. I want to find out who... Okay. Pat Curley, Bill Collage, Adam Cooper, and Michael Leslie have scripted it. Who is directing it? Can't find... I don't think they've announced who's directing it yet.
Turns out it's like Neil Blomkamp or something like
Oh,
that.
God. Actually,
There's
you know who I
there's-
could really see directing a Assassin's Creed movie?
Who?
Christopher Nolan.
I was about to say Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn would be good too, actually. That's a really good idea.
That was just because I saw The Kingsman today.
How did you like that?
Fucking awesome.
Was it
Literally
really
one of
good?
the best like gadget spy films I've seen in years.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. I'm probably gonna have to see that now.
Yeah, Colin Firth pulls off the gentleman spy look very well. But Samuel L. Jackson as the villain just kills it. He's funny.
Wait, Samuel L. Jackson's in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He plays as he plays as like the megalomaniac villain, but he has like a lisp.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I need to see this movie. I'm going to see this movie tomorrow.
It's great. You'll love it.
I'm so excited.
All right, it's time to move on to the middle segment. Are you ready, Manny?
All right, let's do this.
You ready, Baron?
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, the middle segment is simple. We are looking at the past year in review, and we will talk about our favorite games, and our favorite anime, since Baron loves to cover anime.
Oh god, we could talk another hour of anime, Corey.
Oh, I know you can. Now, personally, for me, when it comes to games, my game of the year last year, even though it didn't really come out last year, was The Last of Us Remastered. You can,
Oh.
because I never played it before, and then I did play it, and I was blown away.
I think that technically counts.
So yes, it technically counts. I would throw Smash 4 on that list.
I was going to say Smash 4.
But I picked it up pretty late, and I haven't finished all of it. I don't have all the characters yet, so I don't think I've invested enough time into it to make that call.
I think the main thing about Smash 4 though is that for the people who for the really technical players, like I know enough about the tech in competitive Smash that I sit there and I look at it and I can understand what they're doing, but I know I couldn't do it myself because I don't have that kind of lightning fast reaction time.
Same here.
But there's a huge divide that's growing between the two sides of the community in that aspect. There's the one side that, you know, they play it for fun because it's a fun ass game, and then there's the people who play it competitively for fun because it's a fun ass game. But they got screwed because they took out all of the mechanics from Brawl and Melee that made it fun to them. So
Yeah. Like no more wave dashing.
Oh god.
I mean, God, I remember playing in a few Smash tournaments, and every time I lost, it was to somebody wave dashing.
It's like, oh, you're playing as Luigi? I didn't know he had a skateboard. Jesus.
Well, little nuances like, you know, having Sheik and Zelda being two different characters and not one really changes your, you know, your strategy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what was your game of the year, Manny?
Game of the year, definitely hands down Destiny. No, I'm just joking.
I was about to shoot you,
You're
man.
about to slap me there. No, it's like, I'm really serious, guys. No, game of the year, hands down for me, is Dragon Age. Holy cow! Like
I cannot see anybody talking on my Facebook that isn't something about Dragon Age. Like,
exactly, yeah. And
I so regret not playing this game.
there was so much hype up to it, and having been a huge fan of the previous two versions, I went into this, you know, with full faith and confidence. And I remember, you know, with recent releases before, like Destiny, where there was a lot of hype. You know, fans were like, "Oh my god, this is gonna bomb!" I'm like, no, dude, it's
I
gonna
know
be
you
awesome.
were very, very hyped about the new alternate relationships,
Oh, most definitely.
like Iron Bull.
Iron Bull.
Oh no.
Yeah, sleeping with Kunari, great.
No, you know what's really sad is I felt like the female characters, even the female character creation, like, pardon the pun, but they got the raw end of the ugly stick. Because it's like, it just seems like it wasn't quite the greatest selection in terms of who you can choose from, and also in trying to create like a pretty character, especially female one.
Is it just me, or does, like, when it comes, like, when BioWare, whenever they do hair, for some reason it always looks like the hair is made out of Play-Doh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I totally see that.
But no, definitely hands down, Dragon Age all the way in terms of gameplay, story, mechanics, presentation. Oh my goodness.
Now, as for anime of the year,
Oh boy, here we go.
oh god,
Well, hold on. Let's have BaronJ say what his game is.
well, you said Smash, right?
Oh well, yeah. Well, I was going to say Smash, but since you brought it up, I guess I can try to think of something else. Game of the year for me. See, it's difficult. It's difficult for me because I'm biased. Because I like simple games. I like stuff that's super easy to pick up.
Okay.
That's totally legit, though.
I mean, yeah, it definitely has that quality for me, at least. If it has that, it immediately draws me in.
I'm trying. Did Bravely Default come out in 2014?
It did.
It did.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Bravely Default was very fun. Oh, that's a tough one. God, that's actually really hard to think about because the
Smash
most
has dominated your life.
basically Smash is dominating my life.
Welcome to Smash Addicts group.
Hi, my name is BaronJ, and I main Falco. Hi, BaronJ. No, I honestly I really can't think of a game of the year for me. Mainly because I've just had the 3DS the whole time, so I don't really know. I guess I'll have to say Smash, because I mean I've played it for 3 months straight, so it's great.
Now let's talk about anime of the year.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Here's my problem.
Where do
I
we
didn't
begin?
really watch enough anime this year.
Despite like all those suggestions I sent you.
Yes, enough.
It's pretty bad, Baron. Like during my lunch hour, I'll send Corey like 50 different links.
It doesn't help that you send them to me at work, and then I work in basically a fucking library, so you can't really watch and half the shit you send me has fan service, so I can't really watch fan servicey anime in a library.
That is very, very true. It's hard to. It's hard to have like friends. Well, now that they know, because I started doing this year. Now that like I've had friends that didn't know I watched anime or anything like that, and they're like, what does John do on YouTube? What do we know about it? It's like, oh, he just reviews anime and stuff like that. And they're like, he watches anime? It's like, dude, the guy is a huge nerd. And I'm just like, yeah, it's good.
Oh, let me see. Like I watched what was it? Agame Ga Kill.
Mm-hmm.
That was meh.
It started out really, really strong, and then it just went super downhill.
It was like Akame Ga Feels or Akame Ga Thrones, Game of Feels, because characters are dying off left and right.
Okay, so like the very first character that died, I did not expect that, and that actually got me like I actually felt a little something. The second guy, I could see the pattern happening. He's just like, oh, you get a backstory. You're gonna die.
Right.
It's just, it got boring real quick, and I think I stopped at the episode where whatever his name is fights Lady Esteth on like top of that cliff or whatever. Or,
That was where I really wanted to stop, but because I wanted to cover it, I had to be like, okay, we're gonna do this.
I'm gonna bend the rules, and I know a lot of like otakus won't say it's anime, but what was the biggest animation thing that happened in the past year?
Avatar.
Korra. Yeah.
Korra, yep.
I have not. Do not say anything, because I haven't finished the last season of Korra. I need to.
I won't say anything that happened at the last episode.
Well, I know about one thing in the last episode, and it makes me want to watch it.
Was it the shipping?
It was the lesbians.
Yes. Yes, how they're in lesbians with each other.
Which, hey, like, holy crap. I mean,
it surprised the hell out of me. Like, I thought it was gonna like end off on like a platonic relationship with like Mako or something like that. And it's just like, nope, they're together now. It's just like, wow, Nickelodeon went there. They allowed this shit.
Apparently, right?
Because like, I don't know, like Avatar the Avatar franchise in the past year has really dominated my my fandom when it comes to animation recently. And I guess because of it, it's been forcing me to listen. It's like, you know what? I haven't watched this series in a long time. So I bought Trigun, and I've rewatched Trigun. Oh, I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell in a long time, so I've been rewatching Ghost in the Shell. It's just like, I haven't been watching anything new. It's just been, I'm just reliving the past here. But the only thing new that I have watched, and I immediately love, is Korra. So... And I know people won't say it's an anime, but god damn it, if you translate anime, it translates as animation.
Well, here's the thing that I typically say to people who, I recently had this debacle. For one thing, I don't think necessarily that Korra is specifically an anime. I think it is it draws from anime heavily, but because there is a certain Americanization to the animation itself,
Mostly to the
tends-
writing, I would argue.
It tends to be like that. But I do not argue that it has anime influences. Dear God, I mean, look, you got to look at it and go, are you serious? But for a lot of people, what happened with me was, it was really unfortunate. But recently, the creator of Ruby, Monty Oum,
yeah, that was
it was a huge shock. I
Yeah.
actually cried. I was like, I can't believe that happened. And I went and tried to post to the R Anime subreddit and say, when he was hospitalized, I was like, he's in the hospital. Here's a donation link. Go help him.
I saw that video.
Yeah, and I was immediately greeted with, this is not really anime related. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to remove the post. To which I responded, and I wholeheartedly agree. This was a little hot-headed, but I had just found out like 5 minutes ago. And the guy was just like, sorry, I have to remove the post. I was like, go fuck yourself. This guy's on his deathbed and we're trying to help him. And what is your problem? And I didn't realize there's this whole debate going on the Reddit. And I was just like, okay, I said it in the Ruby video to the people who don't think that Ruby is an anime. Oh God, now I'm going to have to remember the joke. If the sandwich you eat contains hot steak and cheese, but it was produced in California rather than in Philadelphia, is it still a Philly cheesesteak? Of course it is, you goddamn moron. Because you look at it and it's like, this is an anime. This is obviously an anime. With Avatar, there's a little bit of a distinction of, it's a bit of an Americanized like art style. But
to be fair, Avatar does feel rather unique. Like, I haven't really seen anything come out of the West like it at all, outside of, say, Ruby.
Right. But there are purists who take the term anime as, it's a Japanese animation produced in Japan and aired in Japan. But in Japan, any animation is referred to as anime because that's what it is. That's just the word for it there. So I think Giguk or whatever his name is did a video over this, I think. Yeah.
Long time ago.
But it's just it's like a minefield for people to talk about. So I've just decided, I'm just like, if it ever comes into concentration again, I have my standpoint on it. People can hate it or whatever. I just, I think it should be obvious to most people.
Anyways, well, we got pretty off topic there, I guess. But
right,
Baron, what was your favorite anime of the past year?
Oh, that's a tough one. There were a lot of really, really good releases this year. I would the ones I can think of off of the top of my head, I would have to say the number one top spot, mainly just because I'm a huge fanboy, was Fate's Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. Mainly because I see a lot of people don't like it because they'll watch it and they're like, I can't understand how. I don't know anything about this, but there was an anime a long time ago made by Studio Dean. Don't watch it; it's terrible. But there's it's based off of a visual novel, which it's like a choose your own.
Night?
Yeah, Fate's Stay Night, and it's like a friggin' it's just like a choose your own adventure book. And then they made the anime out of it, and it was bad. And then there was another one called Fate Zero, which is the prequel to the entire story. And Fate Zero was written by Gen Urobuchi, who is a guy who does a lot of really dark, psychological, really, really twisted stuff. And because I am an incredibly fucked up individual, I really like it. So the animation was done by UFO Table, or UFO Table, however you want to pronounce it. And they are basically god tier animation studio.
It was the most beautiful animation I've ever seen for a TV show.
It's commonly referred to as unlimited budget works. But that was hands down like my top, like that was the thing I was the most hyped for this year. And then there was another one. What am I forgetting? Actually, there was a little bit of a sleeper for me that I didn't hear a lot of people talking about. And it was probably one of my favorite things that premiered this year is a show called Terraformers. I don't know if you guys have heard of this.
I saw that, and I was okay. The story and the whole premise interested me, but I watched the first couple episodes, but the censoring was so bad. It made it very distracting.
Yeah, it's really bad at the first, but they immediately rectified that after.
Then they released what was it, the first 4 or 5 episodes uncensored.
Yep.
And then I watched those, and I was interested, but I'm waiting for the whole series to be fully done and out and on Blu-ray, so people can, that the uncensored version is up.
Right. The best way I can describe it is like the bastard offspring of a Nat Geo special and Dragon Ball Z. It's like they're getting into a fight with all of the cockroaches. Now, the electric eel can produce 9 volts of electricity in its entire body. When amplified to the human spectrum, it goes up to 200. And then you get the character that can just fucking summon lightning out of the sky. It's awesome. And they all have like different DNA attributes and stuff like that. And it's definitely along the lines of Akame ga Kill. There are flags everywhere. You have to be like, you have to kind of go very, very gently with how you talk about the show, because you can say like, oh, and then, I can't tell you about that, but there is a thing that happens. There's a thing. No, but that was a great sleeper for me.
One show that everybody says to watch in the past year is like, oh my god, you should watch this, but I never got around to it. Probably because it just looked so silly, but that's probably what made it attractive, and that was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, I never got around to that.
Fucking god. Dude, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is silly the fucking series. It's manly men doing manly things. It's just it's so well. I mean, you have to understand it's based off of a manga that was released in like 1975. So I don't even know if that's right.
To adapt
it was super, super old. But what you have to understand is that like the humor still translates to a certain extent. And it's a show that keeps trying to one-up itself on the like what the shit factor. And it gets better and better as you go on. Actually, a new episode of the new season came out today, and I need to watch that shit at some point.
I think one of my, if I was gonna, since I said Korra was my favorite anime, if I was actually to say, okay, what was my favorite thing to actually come out of Japan this year, past year, for me it was that little short called Me Me Me, because that blew my mind.
When that came out, like I was not paying attention, and then who was it? I think Demo linked to it and was like, "Oh, look at this!" And it was like Hideki Anno and a bunch of other people. Hayao Miyazaki friggin' came up with a name for it. I was like, what is going on here? And then I actually watched it, and I was like, why does she have guns coming out of her boobs? Oh, that's what this is becoming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I thought it was just, I thought it was a great commentary on the otaku lifestyle.
I think that's what it was conceptualized as.
Yeah.
More than the 3 Deep 5 me, like, bullshit people are trying to make out of it.
Yeah. Or, well, I think some people are like, they say it's too deep for you bait, is what they call it. But you know what? Yeah. It is actually pretty deep. Like, it's one of those things where you really have to watch it over and over again. You start to see little subtle visual cues and everything.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling Hideki Anno was involved, even before I saw his name in the credits later, just because I saw the Eva figures, and the mindfuckery felt very similar.
Yeah. He definitely knows how to do that.
Now, if only he could help finally get fucking Eva 3 over to the States finally.
It's gonna happen at some point.
What were we promised a year ago that the Blu-ray was coming out?
Oh, geez, Tommy would know more about that.
God. Anyways.
I have no idea.
What was your favorite anime of the year, Manny?
Oh, geez, favorite anime of the year? That's really hard to put down. Because there were so many that came through, and there were a lot of, like, how we were talking about, like, sleepers, like ones that were, underrated or just, flew under the radar that didn't get as much attention. Some of them that come to my mind are, like, Black Bullet. Have you guys even heard that one?
I don't know how to feel
watched
about
it,
Black
but I
Bullet.
called it Lowly Land or Lowly
Yeah, and that
Bullet.
was the problem. Like
Or Black Lowly.
The-
No, that didn't work.
the lowlies were like a distraction, and it kind of gave the show a bad rap. But when you watch it in terms of the content, what it was about, which is basically human survival against this like invading like kind of bug insect population thing. That's what made it interesting, and in some cases, it was almost more about the human condition.
See, this is why I love you, Manny. You see past my cynicism.
There was
And
that
see,
one.
The thing about Black Bullet, like, I was in. I was super in it until about episode like 18 or 19, and then I suddenly like I don't know if this speaks for the show itself, but like my interest in like my actual like watching of it just dropped off, and I had to realize I was like, oh, that's right, that ended, and I went back and watched it, and I was like, I don't know why I stopped watching this, and I had to think about that for a bit, and I was like, I wonder if that had something to do with it.
I had a similar problem with Kill la Kill.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Didn't that ended broadcast this year? I guess didn't it?
Last year, yeah. So yeah, Kill la Kill would be on that list. But,
Yeah,
but
Kill la Kill is definitely on
Kill la
that
Kill is fucking ridiculous.
Awesome.
Wait, have you even watched Kill la Kill, Manny?
Yeah, I watched like at least 4 episodes.
Oh God, you didn't even
Yeah.
get to the weird parts.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what dissuaded me. It's like,
Well,
Yeah.
you know what's even weirder now? It's going to be on Toonami. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
broadcasting this weekend on
yeah,
Toonami.
well, we'll see how that turns out.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad fact about
I've just-
Toonami, their programming got cut in half.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I forgot about that.
No more Cowboy Bebop, no more Full Metal, no IGPX, no more Tenchi,
All the classics.
no more Samurai Jack.
Yeah,
Samurai Jack, man.
Yeah,
I miss Samurai Jack.
yeah.
That to happen again, so bad.
But I'm trying to think just other titles that were just kind of really under the radar that I thought were, I guess, memorable. I wouldn't call them anime of the year. There was a magical girl one called Rurumo Majimoji, and I guess what made that one different was it wasn't your typical like the magical girl is like innocent and cutie. It was more like she's just kind of emo, and the main character is just like.
You know what? I just remembered one, and it was completely forgot about it because literally each episode's like 3-4 minutes long, and that is I can't understand what my husband is saying.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, people keep telling me about that and how easy to digest it is. I think it was Kisa.
Well, it's easy to digest. It's very short, and then for what time it does have, it uses that time very effectively.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, if you're not in on your animes, like in the know, it'll just fly right over
It
you.
does. If you're not in the culture,
Yeah.
So if you're somebody's like, well, I like Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm trying to get an anime, do not watch. Do not
Yeah, if
watch.
you're a
I can't
mainstream
understand what
person.
my husband is saying because it'll just fly
Right.
right over your head.
Right.
Also this year, it kind of happened out of nowhere, but we had Hanamonogatari and I think Suki also. Yeah, Sukemonogatari also premiered this year. It was just kind of like I didn't know they were doing it, and I
I've
guess
never
that was.
seen anything with the ending Gatari.
You've never seen any of those?
No.
That's actually something you can look forward to from me. I'm going to do an overview of it with Alex Akami and a friend of his whose name I am forgetting because I don't have that in my Skype history at the moment. Eric something.
I can't remember who did it, but I think it was the Kanepia Effect did a video review recently of Katana Gatari.
Oh, Canapa Effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a cool dude actually. I think I've talked to him before. I believe so. Yeah, probably.
Just say you do, and it makes you more famous.
Yeah. I have a lot of Skype names that are like actual people's names, but they don't have like their name under it, like their YouTube name. So I have just like a whole bunch of like Michael and Corey and Eric, and it's just like, okay, I think this is this guy, and I think this is this guy, but I don't know. It's just interesting to try and put faces to the names, I guess. But no, all the entirety of the Gatari series. Oh my god, dude! I was skeptical at first, and then I actually delved into it, and I was like, okay, this is really fucking good. This is really good. I just did what was it, like 3 or 4 weeks ago? I did Katana Gatari, which was holy crap, so good.
I mean that one. I'm very interested to watch it. I just heard that like the thing that's really hard to get past is just that there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of it.
If you look away for like 10 seconds, you can miss the entirety of what's happening for the rest of the episode. But but that is why it's great. Katana Gatari is a good like entry into the writing style because it's not as bad. It's easier to see what's happening because the episodes are 45 minutes long, and it's a bit of an easier flow into that. But once you get his dialogue style and his writing style, it's incredibly addictive. Like, I'm now very excited for him to put out something else. I really want them to do something else now.
Mm-hmm. Well, here, let me throw this out there. Kind of changing things up, but still about anime. Do you guys prefer to watch your anime in dubs or subs? And if either one, why so?
Honestly, I prefer dubs. As long as it doesn't have Greg Ayers. I can't stand his voice. It's just mostly because like I feel like if I focus on the subtitles, I tend to miss a lot of things. It's why like I like with a lot of action oriented shows, I stay away from subs because then I feel like I'm missing something. This is what prime example of this for me was Gurren Lagann. I could not watch that in subs just because I felt like I was missing all this really cool animation that was right in front of my eyes, but I was too damn focused on the words below it.
That and the dub was just damn perfect. So it's like
the dub of Gurren Lagann was very, very good. I've seen both of them and it's like
Steve
almost
Bloom,
incomparable.
As a gay man, was the most glorious thing I have ever seen.
Oh, I forgot about that. For me, I definitely. I mean, I'm a huge weeb. I watch my stuff in Japanese, but it's for two main reasons that a lot of people don't say about watching stuff in Japanese. Because, for one, it's not about the convenience of it. It's like, oh, it just came out 2 hours ago. I can watch it in Japanese. It's, for one, I really like to read. I love to read. So, watching anime is just like, oh, I'm not only sort of kind of reading a book, I'm also watching the pictures on the screen because I am a simple man and I like simple things. But the other reason for me is because a lot of people don't know this. In actual life outside of YouTube, I am an audio engineer, which is probably part of the reason why my voice sounds the way it does. But it's like half not like the engineering and it's half just the delivery. But a lot of English voice actors, for me, kind of ruin the delivery of the lines as far as what it sounded like in Japanese compared to the dubs.
Is this are you pointing the finger at, say, female voice actors when it comes to like moe?
Not necessarily. Although
I've seen people do that before.
Yeah, I do see the disparity and the dichotomy there, but a lot of it for me is just like there's a cadence and a flow to the way people talk in Japanese while reading it, for me at least, that it just flows better, it sounds better, and it's almost musical in a way. But in English, you have to do it just right with like with Gurren Lagann, where some of the dialogue was kind of rewritten. A lot of what, like, I'm not pointing any fingers, Funimation, but they like to just basically hand read the script from the Japanese subtitles, and it's like you can't do that with English because you end up getting the "Why do you think that, Oni-san?" It's just like there's no flow to it.
Yeah, and hence why you need really good ADR script writers,
right,
or script editors.
Right. And see, it's like case in point for me. I think the moment where it kind of changed a lot for me was I saw a One Piece special or something like that back in the day that I watched in subtitles, and they had Goku in it, and I was like, oh hey, it's Goku.
Oh, was this the one where there was like One Piece, Toriko, and
yeah, and he like said something. He was like, "Here I go," and he said it, and it was like incredibly high pitched, and I was like, "What?" because I've always known Goku just to have the like happy, carefree, like, hey everybody.
I always knew Goku as Sean Scheimal, so.
So when I heard that, I was like, what? And then I went and I watched like Dragon Ball Z Kai, where they re-edited everything and made it super, super quick. And I was floored by how different the pacing of the dialogue was compared to the original Dragon Ball, where it was just like, you are going to die by my hand, carrot cake.
No, I mean, for me, Kai was kind of hard to get into because I was looking at Dragon Ball with a lot of rose-colored glasses and everything,
Right.
especially when it came to the dub. And that was just mostly because I had an attachment to certain voice actors like Gohan and stuff like that. And of course, things have to change. I mean, it's kind of like how I have it like with Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, I like Brotherhood more, but I have more of an attachment to the voice actors from the original series.
Right.
Yeah. But I would say I like Dragon Ball Z Kai. The only thing I'm just wondering if they'll ever do the Buu saga, but to be honest, I really could care less because I always firmly believe the Dragon Ball series should have ended at the end of the Cell saga. It felt more appropriate.
Right. Are you talking about like the English dubs of Kai? Because they are doing that. I'm pretty sure they're doing that.
The dubs of the English dubs of Kai are still out up to the Cell saga, but they never did the Majin Buu saga.
Right. I think the production on that was halted because of Battle of the Gods, and now they're going back into it. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but I'll tell you, I've watched the subs of Kai in the Buu saga, and it's awesome. So there you go.
All right. Anyways, I think we've been on this middle subject for long enough. So
This is still the middle part. Oh god.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the final segment, and that is the shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
So, Manny, I think you wanted to go first, that you had a little something, right?
Sure, why not? In fact, let's talk about the state of Missouri and our college basketball team coach, the Missouri Tigers. His
Because
name...
Missouri employs you.
Well, no, it's a pretty interesting story. So, anyways, the basketball coach, Kim Anderson, he came back from a recent trip. I can't exactly remember where, but he was riding on one of those, small private jets. And on his way in, flying in, true story, one of the engines on his plane went out, and then suddenly they had to take an emergency landing. And the whole time, when you hear the story, everyone's like, oh man, just think of the event it was for him, and then him seeing like all the emergency vehicles on the ground before he's even landing. He might be thinking, oh, is he gonna die and all that stuff. But they talked so much about him, but the one thing they didn't or never spoke of was the pilot and like how they thought of the situation, how they handled it, if it was even manageable, or if it was just kind of like, okay, the engine went out, but we're gonna be okay.
So your shout-out is to the pilot with balls of steel, right?
Exactly, or the one that we never heard from, So my shout out is not just, I guess, to that pilot, but to any pilot for that matter who, puts their lives on the line and helps us get us where we need to go and has those balls of steel when we need them.
Very good, Manny.
How about you guys?
Well, I want to give a shout out to GameStop for giving me about a little over $25 for Assassin's Creed in credit, and let me get Monster Hunter for $15. So there.
Which, folks, you got to understand, this is a huge miracle coming from Corey to GameStop, because he would not sweat blood or tears in that store a few years ago until I was able to convince him it's worth it.
GameStop used to be the bane of my existence.
It can work out depending on how you use it.
And then I got burnt. And then Best Buy totally fucked me over my PS4 order. Funny story, Baron. I pre-ordered my PS4 the day after the Sony E3 conference, so like when they were available for pre-orders. And I put in my pre-order, and I came back, and I was like, all right, can't wait. So then I go on pre-order day to pick it up at midnight, and when I get there, they're like, all right, your total comes to $60. I'm like, 60? What? And they're like, yeah, you got the controller. And I'm like, I didn't pre-order the controller. Well, it says here you did. It turns out that 6 months beforehand, the lady who put in my pre-order fucked up and put in the controller instead. So I then had to go and camp outside of a Target for 5 hours to go get a PS4. So I never shop at Best Buy again, and because of that, I now shop at GameStop.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Anyways, Baron, do you have a shout out?
Let me think. I'll tell you who I'll have a shout out to. Actually, crap, why didn't I say this during the news segment? I just found out today. Apparently, this is a thing. Netflix, who, for a while, because all I watch is anime, were the bane of my existence because they'd never updated with newer content. So I just switched to using Crunchyroll.
Hoot hoot.
Right? What up, Crunchyroll? How's it going? There's a shout out for you. I like you guys. You're great. Also, on top of that, Netflix has announced that they are doing a mini-series in their way that they do, they release the whole thing at once. They have announced that they've been talking and probably are going to do a TV series based off of The Legend of Zelda.
I saw that, and my first thought was, will Link be silent or will he be...
I don't know. I really think they could pull the silent Zelda off very artistically, as he could be like a mute kid or something like that. And they'd have to get a kid that's very, very good at emoting.
Or it's a silent film.
Or a silent film. The only thing that I have to say about that is they better cast Dave Bautista as Ganon. There is no other actor who could play Ganon. Who did you say?
Or as a Goron.
Or as a Goron. I could see him as a Goron.
Yeah.
But no, if he's
is a Goron now.
Oh no.
No, Batista's got the...
He's got the build for it. He's got the face for it. I could also see, as bad as that sounds, I could also see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever see the horrible, like really terrible fan film, Hero of Time?
Maybe. Is that the fake trailer that got released like
No.
5 years
Like
ago?
this was a fan-made movie called The Hero of Time, and it was like a full-length fan movie based around The Legend of Zelda. And it's the movie's so terrible that people take it around cons and do commentary over it.
You've got to be kidding me. That sounds awesome.
I remember that.
They typically do it at Anime St. Louis, so if you're going this year, they probably should still have it.
I'll have to check that out.
But what was it? They there was when they were to do the Gorons, the guy who plays as a Goron is Hawaiian.
Okay.
That's horrible.
Alrighty then.
So I'm really hoping they don't do like racial casting for different species.
That's amazing.
Like the Zoras are albinos.
Mm-hmm.
No, if it were to be that stereotypical, the Zoras would be either Puerto Rican or they would be Japanese. The Gorons would be Hawaiian or Russian of some variety. The Kokiri would be
San Franciscan.
Or, honestly, like
Very carefree.
I could also see Japanese or Chinese or Korean, really.
Korean, yeah, that would
And then the Highlands would just be Europeans.
Yeah.
Basically. Can't really think of any of the other races. The Gerudo? Oh god.
Middle Eastern or African.
yeah.
Oh god, now you got me thinking about how awesome it would be if they did that, like if the Gerudo, like if they were to do anything with them, it would be like a Middle Eastern kind of like Mecca civilization. Now I'm just like going into wishful thinking about what it could be. I really want it to be awesome.
Yeah, I remember there was a petition a while back to get Netflix to pick up The Legend of Korra. I think that's still going.
They don't have that on there?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, like, they used to have the Avatar series a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then Nickelodeon pulled it when they were releasing The Legend of Korra.
Huh.
And now the only way to watch it is the whole series is on Nickelodeon's web player, but it's only for like a limited time for like the next month or so. And it's just like, come on, just fucking put it on Netflix and make money already.
Damn.
But people are wanting Netflix to actually buy the rights to the series from Nickelodeon so that the series creators can make an Avatar show without the hindrances of Nickelodeon.
Right.
Interesting.
So, we could have gotten a more explicit shipping at the end, or there wouldn't have been a clip show at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when, back like in the day when Netflix first started streaming, like anime was under the foreign film section?
Yeah.
And even they only had like one or two animes. Like one was like Tokyo Godfathers, and then something else.
Oh, yeah, I do remember when Tokyo Godfathers was on Netflix. I miss that. I miss it so much.
Yeah. Speaking of things I miss, I guess earlier to answer what I thought was the best anime, this is kind of cheating, but I recently picked up Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray last year. And I remember when I first saw that, I just wasn't into it because I don't think I really understood what was going on, especially with the dialogue. But now watching it, I think it's like possibly the best, the perfect anime.
I mean, Cowboy Bebop's a fucking masterpiece, dude.
Yeah,
with the perfect dub to the point I have never met a person who hated the Cowboy Bebop dub. I even actually brought that question up at our panel last year.
Yeah, like every episode is its own anime, really, and it's its own presentation. It's so raw, it's very real. Like there's truth. It's ridiculous.
It's up there with the original, the original Full Metal Alchemist broadcast for me, and of course Fooly Gooly.
I was gonna say Trigun.
Trigun's, yeah, you know what? Trigun's up there too. But I don't know. Fooly Cooly always has a place in my heart.
Well, I was more fascinated with Trigun simply because it was Johnny Young Bosch's first ever voice acting role.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That is a thing.
And sadly, he's the only one from that series that still does voice acting. All the rest of them don't do shit anymore.
Right. It's just odd.
Yeah, leave it to the Power Ranger to get all the work. Anyways, I think that's the end of the middle segment. I'm sorry, no, not the middle segment. The shout out section.
Yeah.
And it is time to bring this podcast to a close. I have no final parting words, to be honest, but other than that, we will be back next week, hopefully with Tommy in tow. Otherwise, we'll bring him kicking and screaming. Manny, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I don't. But before we do let go, let's let BaronJ put in his plug, or if he's got anything to add to it.
Yeah, if you guys want to get some recommendations for anime or games or movies to watch, you can head on over to youtube.com/users/BaronJ says words. And that's pretty much it. That's basically all I do. I guess as far as parting words, kumquat, saltine, haberdashery. That's a good word. I like that word.
Haberdashery?
Yes, it is a person who tailors, repairs, and creates hats.
What?
A haberdashery is a store that is for hats and basically like accessories for men, basically. And they don't exist anymore, obviously. No.
Yeah.
Well, no, they used to have them back in the day, back in colonial America. I need a new monocle. I'll pop down to the haberdashery.
Now, excuse me, lady, while I go down to the haberdashery to get this tailor. I fucked that up.
Oh no.
We'll pretend that didn't happen.
Yes. Anyways, BaronJ, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyways, my name is Corey.
And I'm Manny.
And I'm BaronJ.
We'll see you all next week, folks. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Sweet dreams.
Also.